Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and just want to kind of upload this little commentary type thing on the side channel here. But April Fool's Day has come and gone. It is the yearly tradition where once a year, for one day per year, on April 1st, you cannot trust anything that you see or hear. But one of those things, I was actually kind of looking into it because this is actually one of the first things I saw on April Fool's Day, and it was Gmail's drop mic button. Now, if you don't know what this is, essentially, this was supposed to route itself into Gmail, and right next to your send button, when you were composing an email or replying to anything like that, there would also be a drop mic button. When you hit the drop mic button, a little GIF or GIF, however you say animation, would come in, and it would just show a minion dropping a microphone and walking off, and that was it. Now, on paper, this seemed innocent enough, and at first I was like, okay, why are people freaking out about this? But then as I looked more into it, I'm just questioning why Google thought this would be a good idea, and I'll get into my rant with that in a bit. But first off, when I did see this, the very first thing I thought of was, oh shit, a lot of enterprises and a lot of universities and schools use Gmail. They use an enterprise or a school version of Gmail, not the consumer version of Gmail that most people around here use. But I also read that it was not in the enterprise version of Gmail, so I was like, okay, good. That means there's not going to be anyone at my workplace using it. Then I was thinking, okay, it probably just sends out a GIF or an animation or anything like that. I say GIF, but it sends out the animation, and it might annoy some people, but that's going to be it. But here's where the problem lies. That really wasn't it. First off, there were a lot of people that were actually pressing drop mic instead of send, which that I don't understand, to be honest. I really don't understand that. First of all, you can read the buttons right there, and second, if you've used Gmail for long enough, you should know where the placement is, because from what I saw, the drop mic button did not move the send button, and it did not overtake it. The send button was in the same orientation that it always was, and the drop mic button was directly to the right of that. So I don't really know how people were pressing that on accident. So at that point, I was like, okay, that sounds more like user fault, if anything. But then the problem here, the biggest problem, was that it actually cut down on communication. And by that I mean, essentially, when you hit drop mic, it took that literally. When you drop a mic, that essentially means I'm out of here, peace, whatever the hell it is. What would happen is it would not send that email. It would just kind of be you almost unsubscribing from notifications on that email chain that Gmail uses, and that meant if you got any replies, you would not be able to receive them, or you would not be able to send them because you had dropped the mic on that email chain, meaning that you will not be able to see anything after that. So that meant that you were essentially blocking yourself off from communication, and that is where the problem came in. Now, there were a ton of people that were saying, oh, my manager got mad at me, my boss got mad at me. A few people claimed their jobs got ruined or destroyed, or they got fired. That stuff, although it would suck and I could see it happening, I'm taking that all with a grain of salt because it was April 1st. I myself can do that same thing. I could have gone onto the Google product forums and I could have complained about all that. So with that, I don't really know how much I believe it. But here's the thing. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand how Google could think this was a good idea, and to me, it shows that they don't know what the hell to do when it comes to social type things. That's why Google Plus is not doing very well. It's never really done that well because Google has almost always sucked at anything that was social. They have Gmail, they have all this other stuff, they have Google Voice, anything like that, but I'm talking about their social network type things. They tried to do Google Video, that failed, so what they do, they bought out YouTube, they decommissioned Google Video. They tried to do G+, almost as kind of like a Facebook killer in a way. Nobody moved over to Google+. The people that are on Google+ who use it love it. Those are the minority of people. A bunch of people, for the most part, do not like Google+, and that is why they don't use it. Now, I myself, by default, I do use Google Plus because I have an Android phone, I have this YouTube channel linked to it, but even with that, in an effort to pad their social media numbers a few years ago, they ended up forcing all YouTube channels to create a Google Plus account or Google Plus page and link it to their YouTube account, so that way, that was the only way they would be able to comment. They ended up reversing that a few months ago, but I digress, they've always been trying to force it on people, and the main reason being is, if you looked at it prior to the takeover on YouTube where they forced Google Plus onto YouTube, I think MySpace had more users than Google Plus, and this was a few years ago. MySpace had more monthly active users than Google Plus. So that's why they don't really know how to do the social stuff. Google does quite a few good things. They do. They have some genius stuff, but they're an algorithm company. They're a coding company. They know how to do those things. But for some reason, they stick with that stereotype. It's almost like the coder stereotype where coders aren't going to be good with social situations. And I feel like that's almost Google themselves in a way. Because I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay, you send out the GIF animation, that's fine. You put in the button there as a prank, that's fine. But why the hell would you disable notifications and not send out an email or anything like that? Like, what can come out of that? That's what I don't understand. So when people were complaining and they were saying, yeah, this happened, that happened, could some of them have been lying? Sure, but I see a lot of that stuff being believable. And that's why I sit there, I'm like, who thought of this and why did they think this was a good idea with the way it was executed? Because they could have executed this in a much better way. But at the same time, I also don't think they should have done this on an email client. You do it on Google+. That's what I don't understand. Why the hell didn't they do this on Google+? Why the hell didn't they do this as a YouTube feature? Why did they have to do it on something important like email? Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Let me know what you all think of this.